So we haven't done one of these podcasts since UFC 290, which can you even guess who that was?
290. Is that fucking like John Jones?
Nope.
Before then?
After.
Dude.
Give you a hint. The guy that... Yeah. Volk and who'd he fight?
Oh, Pantoja.
Nope. That's not it. That's two different weight classes by far.
Oh, what's his name? Yair.
Yeah. That was the last time we did a pod, and it's been a minute. That's been like a month ago. But just so much crazy stuff has been happening with me. I've had I've been moving and stuff. Been moving, trying to get that all straightened out, training, working, and watching fights and stuff. How have you been?
I've been great, man. School year started like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I don't know how long it's been. But other than that, I haven't really been doing much.
How's what's the kids' favorite activity so far?
Fuck if I know.
You don't even know? That's all right. That's all right. But since then, since that UFC 290, we've had Gaethje versus Poirier, which is a great fight. And Justin knocked out Dustin in the second round, and who would ever guess that Justin head kicked DP to knock him out in 2 rounds? Like, I don't think anybody...
I had it as a knockout.
Right, but
if I had a head kick.
Right, I don't know too many people that would have said that Justin's going to throw a high kick and knock him out. I was over at my coach's house, and we were having a good time over there watching that. Where were you at when Gaethje and Poirier was happening?
I was at my brother's, and nobody was in the room when it happened.
That's what happened.
I was literally the only one that saw it live.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Justin Gaethje and DP. I'm a huge fan of both of them. But I was the same way. I was talking to Corey's brother, Kevin, in the kitchen about my eye surgery when the whole fight was going down, and before I could even finish telling that story, DP got knocked out, and it sucks because I think everybody wanted that to be like a fight of the year type of contender, and I'm a fan of both guys. I think it's super cool that Justin won the BMF belt that way. But
it might be one of the knockouts of the year.
Right? Yeah, true.
I really haven't seen it. I can't think of any other crazy ones.
I don't know where DP goes from. I don't know where he goes from here. But
the pack.
Then since then, the week after that, we had UFC Nashville, which was awesome.
Really, a week after that? Oh my
The week after Justin Gaethje versus DP was UFC Nashville, which was awesome. Look at that poster. Yeah, you got a fat poster for it too.
It was awesome until the main event.
Yeah, that one's been controversial around the space I'm in. A lot of people say that you shouldn't be really a lot of the guys in the MMA space of where I train at and stuff say that we can't really be mad that Corey displayed a high level of wrestling and basically dominated in that aspect of the whole fight. But my argument is, and I'm going to try to fully entail it quick, if I wanted to watch wrestling and jiu-jitsu, I would go to a wrestling and jiu-jitsu competition. And you can counter that and say, well, if you wanted to watch boxing and kickboxing, you go watch a boxing or kickboxing match. But that's not what I'm saying. The fight was on the ground for over 20 minutes, or they were clinched together. Bodies were touching each other without any strikes for over 20 minutes in a 25-minute fight. So it's not like it was really mixed up that much at all. I mean, Corey had 19 minutes and something, and Rob had a little bit over a minute. And it just kind of put a stinker on the whole event. The whole event was awesome until, and even then, it's good job for Corey doing what he had to do, especially him saying he came out with a tore tricep. But that's not how you get a title shot, especially what just happened with Sterling and O'Malley. Those are the type of performances you need if you want to be big in the UFC, not trying to grapple a dude for 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of that, segue into that, Sterling versus O'Malley, the week after that, or 2 weeks, I think RDA versus Luque was in between them. But still, Sterling gets knocked out in 2 rounds by Sean O'Malley. What were you doing when that happened, and how did you feel when seeing Sugar Show.
It was like, I feel like it was like a later fight, like right. It was like later in like usually they're done by like they're done before then, and like theirs had just started. So I think I was literally just like either watching a movie and like I had it on or like I was doing something else. But I just remember I was doing whatever I was doing. I look over and I just see Sterling just kind of like go down.
Man, he went down quick and hard, and then Sean O'Malley was landing some ground and pound from the standing position, and uh, it's controversial whether that stoppage was late or not. I'm not saying it was a bad stoppage. I think that honestly, if Sterling would have got up, he most likely would have just got knocked out cold if he got up. Like he would have just got playing it the same way that Sean O'Malley did Thomas Almeida. He had to knock him out twice in one fight. I think he would have did the same thing to Sterling if Sterling got up. But what Joe Rogan was saying on the broadcast is you got to give the champ some time to recover. And I understand it looked bad, but I never felt like Sterling was out cold at all. And I think he made a bad decision going to all fours when he was getting hammer fisted. I think he didn't need to go to all fours. If he did go to all fours, he needed to have a leg immediately, and he didn't have any of that. He just kind of rolled over, and Sean O'Malley landed another shot, and that's what made the ref stop it. But either way, great shot by Sean O'Malley. What a way to win a UFC title. Like, if that's how he was going to do it, or if he was going to do it, that's how he needed to do it. And you feel happy for the dude after all the crap he's been through. I mean, people saying... And I'm one of those people that say, like, he never really fought any true contenders on his way up until he fought Peter Yan, and then that whole thing was controversial. But you can't say nothing about the dude now. He did something that Sterling... He did something that Sterling, TJ Dillashaw, and Peter Yan, and Henry Cejudo, all four of those guys could not... I said that. That was the first guy I said.
You said Sterling.
Okay. I'm going to believe you. Sandhagen, Sandhagen, Henry Cejudo, Peter Yan, and TJ all couldn't do what Sean O'Malley did to Aljo. And so it's impressive in any right that he was able to do what he did. And happy for the guy. It's awesome for him to realize a dream. Hopefully that a lot of people in life can realize something of that type of happiness in their life one day. And then... Believe it or not, we're recording this podcast at 3:24 in the afternoon, and there's been a UFC fight card already started and ended because it was in Singapore.
I'm kind of upset about that one.
What do you mean?
Because verdict. I did my picks like 2 weeks ago just in case I forgot about them, and then I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go change my picks for real. And I clicked on it, and they're already halfway through.
Ah,
like the people I was gonna switch to Justin Taffa. I was gonna switch to Aaron. And then that was it. Like I would have gotten some of them wrong, but like damn,
yeah,
I got all of them wrong besides 2.
What'd you end up getting place wise out of 7?
I think like 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I mean it just be like that, especially with the fight card the main card started at 7 a.m. Central Time. That made things rough.
That's crazy how it goes from Boston, Massachusetts, Singapore.
Yeah.
Like
across the world.
Yeah.
But great showing by Max Holloway. What a guy.
I saw that.
Being able to...
It was a nice knockout.
Yeah, it was. And speaking of stoppages, when Max dropped him the first time, it's the same referee that reffed the title fight last weekend. And I'm thinking, how did he not stop that first knockdown of TKZ, but he stopped Sterling versus O'Malley a week ago in basically the same situation? Not basically, because Sean O'Malley was landing ground and pound after he dropped him, and Max Holloway kind of backed up. But TKZ folded over, like he was out for a second, and then grabbed the leg. Max Holloway standing above him like this, looking down, waiting for the ref to do something, and then Max Holloway jumps on a Darce, and that had me scared because I'm sure a bunch of people had Max Holloway by KO, and they're all just like,
yeah,
what?
Sure.
What?
When I did it, I was like
no. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I couldn't believe that TKZ got out of that, too. That was one of the deepest Darces I've ever seen live, and somebody be able to get out of it. But
I saw that I heard that they said that the last time Holloway got a choke was in 2015.
Right.
against Cub
And
Swanson.
and also not only that, but
Years ago.
if you bet on him by KO this morning, he hasn't gotten a KO since 2018 against Brian Ortega. It's been all decisions since then.
Yeah.
And so that was 5 years ago. So the whole fight it was nice if you're like a betting guy, I guess. You could have fun with it depending on what you had. But I saw your brother had him by KO / TKO. He was
He's
hyped.
been on a hot streak lately.
Heck yeah. And we got next week is Gone versus Spivac. How do you think that one goes?
I feel like it'll probably just go to a decision. Or yeah, I wouldn't see anybody like getting choked out, but I could definitely see it going the whole fight. But I go for Gone. Gain.
I think the same thing. I think Ciryl is gonna win, but Spivac is not bad. So I think if Spivac can get to his wrestling early, he should win. If he tries to get to it late,
Rose was on the card.
Speaking of, I was just gonna say something about that. Rose Namajunas is an underdog next weekend as the co-main event at like plus 155. But the reason why odds makers the odds makers are making that is Rose is going up a weight class. She's going from strawweight to flyweight. Yeah, so either way, I still don't think she should be the underdog. Being a plus 155 for Rose Namajunas, I'm betting that any day. Any day. So
I was looking at her last 3 fights. She's fought 3 times 2021. And her last fight was in May of last year.
Yep.
And there was it that Bourne fight? I didn't even look
Carla.
to that one.
Yep. That's exactly what it was. But what's crazy is that fight had more significant strikes than Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font. But hey, what can we say? It's I mean, again, I'm not really trying. Whenever I bring that up, I'm not really trying to shit on the fact that Sandhagen like did what he had to do. I'm trying to mainly, if I'm trying to shit on anything, it's like when you're in that position where you're in the top of that division when it comes to 135, you have to put on a performance that's going to excite the fans and that's going to get you the title shot. When they hand you Rob Font on a platter, who Cheeto just knocked out not too long ago, and you go out there and do what you did, awesome, you won. Really fucking cool. But you're not going to get a title shot off of that. Like, Marab is going to get a title shot over him. And his performances are, I wouldn't even say the same, because when Marab takes a guy down, he punishes them bad. Like, we saw how the Peter Yan fight looked. He took him down 12 times, but when Peter Yan got up, his face was all fucked up. Both guys looked like they could have won another 3 rounds after those 5 rounds in Nashville. But it's whatever. I want Corey to be UFC champion. Imagine him versus Sean O'Malley. That's a crazy fight.
I want to see the Cheeto Sean rematch. I don't care if it's for a title. I don't care what it is. I just want to see them fight again.
That's probably going to be next, because that's what Sean called for, and the time is right. The time is right for it to happen at this moment, especially if they want to make the fight as big as they can. It's for the belt. It's the only person Sean has a loss on paper to professionally. It's just the right time and place. And then after Gone versus Spivac, we have Adesanya versus Strickland. How do you feel like that one goes?
I don't even know about that one, because I just feel like I don't even know. I don't know what I want from that fight. I don't know if I want Adesanya to win. I don't know if I want to watch something crazy, but I don't even know what to think. I feel like the closer it gets, the more we look into it.
I'm worried.
I'll be able to feel about it.
I think people going into that fight week will underestimate Sean Strickland a lot. And it's just basically his fight style and how he fights and how he acts. He kind of just walks forward with a boxing style, very, very up straight. The Philly shell type defense. And that's the only thing that worries me. And honestly, this is what I'm trying to say. I don't underestimate Sean, and I think the only thing that worries me with him is that he has a torn quad, and his right quad is torn. Like he doesn't even
that happened a while ago, right?
right, and he just doesn't even have a right quad. Like he can't take kicks on it and everything. It'll probably flare up immediately because you have no muscle there, so you're just straight getting kicked with whatever's left after his tour. So essentially, he only has a left leg. So what worries me is the leg kicks. But if Sean can get it out of the way of those, I could see Sean Strickland walking Izzy down for 5 rounds. I think also when Sean fought Alex, I thought Sean was winning the fight until he wasn't. But that's how it goes when you're fighting Alex. And the same thing with Sterling and O'Malley, though. It's like Sterling was winning that fight until he wasn't. And that's just how the fight game is not necessarily the better fighter's going to win, but some people are better in moments than rather over a long distance of time.
I feel like either way it'll be like a first round. I feel like he's just going to walk him down, or he's going to try to walk him down, and he can either get it done or he's going to walk him down and get done. I feel like it's going to be a very quick fight.
I'll be excited either way. Because this is supposed to be the fight that Adesanya was going to fight Dricus, and this was going to be him, like, making a lesson.
That guy.
Yeah, exactly. This was going to be the night that he was going to make a lesson out of Dricus, and now all that energy is put into Sean Strickland. So we'll see. I wouldn't underestimate Sean Strickland, though. That's all I would say. I don't know what's really after that. I have a quick story to end on beforehand.
Wait, hold on. Is this the story about the other night?
Mm-hmm.
I need to hear this.
Exactly. I didn't want to. I specifically didn't want to tell you until we had a podcast because I feel it's kind of a long story, and it's just better if I just got it all on recorded and be able to tell everybody. So, like I said, I don't know if you can notice, but I'm kind of in a new area compared to the other pods. Like, I'm in my kitchen, my new kitchen at the new house right now. And so last Tuesday night, we were moving from our old house to our new house. And we had rented a 26-foot U-Haul truck and everything. And what sucks about this whole thing that I'm about to tell you too is like I had already had a really, really long day before all of this happened. Like I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 a.m. because I had to be at work at 6:30. And before I had to go to work, I had to take the U-Haul from our old house to the new house so we could drop some stuff off after I got off work. So then we could go back to the old house and pick up the rest of the things. So I wake up at 4 a.m., do all that, go to work, have a whole day of work, come home, unpack a lot of the U-Haul. And I had some friends over and they were helping me. And when after they left, when I was done with all the heavy stuff, they left, and me and my mom went back to our old house to get basically the last things that we had, just everything that needed to come out of that house that was ours, including our animals, like my dogs and cat were still there. So we go back to there. It's like 9 o'clock at night when we get to the old house too. So we didn't get done picking up all this stuff and packing up the rest of our stuff until like 11 o'clock at night. And so, of all that, I have a 26-foot U-Haul packed to the brim. Both of my dogs are in the cab with me. My mom is behind me in a van full of stuff with my cat in the passenger seat. And we're on the interstate on the way home. And right as I'm about to take the exit to turn to my new house, I see a car in the middle of Interstate 24 West smoking with all its lights off. And it's a black vehicle. So, I mean, already I'm thinking a car crash just happened. But I honestly was going to keep driving. I'm like, you know the exits that you have to like loop on to get off?
Uh-huh.
So I'm like about to take that loop. And I slowed down to 5 miles an hour though, or 5 to 10, just so I could see what's going on. And when I do that, I look over, and in the car that's smoking, there's a guy trapped in the driver's seat. And I can see his white dress shirt. He was wearing one of those like dress shirts that you wear when you're wearing a suit, like when you dress up for
White button up.
yeah, white button up. He was wearing that and he was fiddling around in the driver's seat and he couldn't get out. So I was like, here we go. So I pull the U-Haul over to the side of the interstate. I like have to.
Is it on the left or right?
So
Like, is it off the shoulder, or is it like in the middle with the divide?
like I'm taking the exit on the right, and I have to pull on the shoulder. He's not in the far left lane. He's not in the fast lane, but he's the lane over from it. So he's like
Okay. It's in the middle of the interstate.
in the middle of the fucking interstate, bro. And I had to like drive in the grass just to pull over on the side of the road in a fucking 26-foot U-Haul with all my dogs and shit. I pull over, I hop out. As soon as I hop out, the guy that had been involved in the accident, not the guy that just crashed or the guy that's stuck in there, but the other guy is running down the interstate towards me. He's like sprinting. Never seen somebody in a while run that fast. This guy's like hauling ass towards me, and he's saying, "There's a guy stuck in there. Do you have anything to break it open? He's stuck in there. We got to get him out." And I'm freaking out because I'm like not like obviously it's.
You're not ready for this.
I've been up for like 20 hours too. Like I've been up since 4 a.m. and this is like 11:30 at night, and I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff in the back of this U-Haul, so I throw the gate open, and luckily, one of the last things I packed up at my old crib was a weight set. So I had a 25-pound dumbbell just sitting right there, like sitting pretty for me to pick up, essentially. So
Like a movie.
exactly. So I lift the gate. We get the gate open. I pick the dumbbell up. But now I'm like having to play crossy roads across I-24 because cars aren't stopping. You can't really tell that there's a guy wrecked because all his, like the electrical went off in the car, like the
In
light.
a dark car.
Exactly. But about time I grabbed the dumbbell, the car caught on fire. So the whole front of the car is now in flames. And I have my mom screaming at me, "Don't go over there. There's too many cars coming and it's going to explode." And then I have the guy who's also that was in the accident screaming at me, "No, we got to get over there. There's a guy trapped in there." So it's like a whole situation. Like a whole movie essentially, and I get the guy to stop traffic so I can get over to the guy, but even then it's like there's semis and cars coming while I'm in the middle of trying to cross this interstate, and they're not really stopping because they can't really see me, so like they get pretty close to me, and even while I'm trying to break the guy out of the car, there's people driving past me not helping, and like there's no paramedics there, no firefighter, it's just me, my mom, and this fucking guy that's so scared to go help the dude. He's screaming at me to go do it. So I get to the car, and the guy that was trapped in there is reaching into the back seat while I'm about to like sling this dumbbell at the back of his window. And I'm telling this guy, you need to move, because if I throw this dumbbell through the window and it smacks him in the head, it's going to be two situations. You know what I mean? So I'm freaking out about smacking him when I throw it because he's not moving. I guess he's not seeing me about to throw it or something because all the lights were off. It's late as fuck at night. He's freaking out. It's smoky as fuck in the car. The whole front of it's on fire. I throw the dumbbell at the back of the window, and this is when I knew I needed to hit the weight gym, is because when I threw it, it cracked the window and didn't go through it, and I'm like, oh, no. I got embarrassed, like, in the middle of this whole incident, and I'm like, oh, I got to pick this dumbbell up again to throw it through. But it wasn't one of those, like, metal dumbbells. It was like a rubber dumbbell. It was a rubber 25-pound dumbbell. And the second time I threw it, though, it went through it, and I thought it was one of those locks that you just had to pull up to unlock it. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that, so the whole time, that's how I cut my elbow when I put it on the story, because I'm fiddling around in this car and I cannot find the lock, and the guy is screaming, "Hurry, hurry," and it's like, what do you think I'm doing? I'm trying to save your life, bro. And it was one of those fold-over locks that goes above the handle, you know what I'm saying? And so as soon as I folded it over, I unlocked the door, and dude climbed out the driver's seat into the back and out the door, and we got to the side of the interstate. Dude is like freaking out still. Like he's not hurting, but he's like freaking out because I think it was his fault, the accident. And
the guy who came running is freaking out.
Well,
the guy who, like,
both,
just saved.
Honestly, both guys were freaking out because the guy that was involved in sprinting up the interstate was like, "What were you thinking? What were you doing?" Like at this guy that had just got pulled out of a flaming vehicle and is on the side of the road, hurting, like. He was, like, holding the left side of him, the bottom left side of him, and that's when I was thinking, like, there ain't no really super vital areas right there in the bottom left side of you. So I was thinking he was going to be straight. I asked what was hurting with him, and I asked if his head was hurting. He said, my head's not hurting, it's just my side. And when he said that, I went in my U-Haul and grabbed him my bar stool, put it on the side of the road for him, let him sit there. And by that time, the cops just now showed up and the paramedics, and they're asking, is anybody in the vehicle still? And by that time, I'm like hopping in my U-Haul to get the fuck out of there because I have over half the stuff I own in my animals, my mom. We're all on the side of the interstate at 11:30 at night, and I'm like, I didn't stay there for recognition or any of that to talk to anybody. Like, I literally saved homie, got on the side of the road, made sure he was good, and left. Like, there was nothing more I needed to do after that. But, hold on. I got something to show you. So, as Kobe knows, I used to have a dog named Mario, and he was a very, quote-unquote, like, brave dog. He was small, but, like, he did not give a fuck when it came to, like, bigger dogs or other people. Like, he always was just not afraid of anybody. So, I have his ashes in this. And because of that day, 2 days ago, I found a piece of glass in one of my shirts from that night. It was on the ground. So I taped it to the top of his ashes in recognition for him and myself. Type of brave, that type of stuff. And I don't even mean to like say all this to like tell people go and try and save somebody's life.
That's just a crazy ass story.
It's just nuts. Yeah, it was just one of those places where I was at the right place at the right time. I'm not some fucking superhero or anything like that. I just so happened to be there before everybody else was. You know what I mean?
And I think it's crazy because like you said, you've been up all day.
Yeah.
Like if this was any other day where like you just woke, that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
Of course, it's the day where you've been up all day.
Right. All day,
We're
all
given a
night.
Choice.
Yeah. I mean,
Fuck it.
and
You're superhero.
like what I'm trying to say is like in those situations I was scared for my own life. Like I risked my own life to save somebody else's. That it traumatized me for the rest of the night. Like I didn't go to sleep until like 5 o'clock in the morning after that because my adrenaline was so pumped up from all that I
Did
just
you get your weight back?
What's funny about that, as soon as I got homie to the side of the interstate, because traffic was still stopped, I saw my dumbbell in the back seat, and I was like, oh, I can't leave it. So I had to go back and grab it. Yeah, I grabbed it. But it's just, if you have the opportunity and it's safe enough, if you feel like you can do it, I would do it. But at the same time, I don't know if another day, if that same situation came across, if it's a little different than that, I might not be the person to save homie's life. It just, right place, right time. The car was on fire in the front of it, so I wasn't afraid of getting to the gas necessarily quickly. So I felt like I had time to get to brother and bust the window open and unlock it and get him out. But I don't think that happens for everybody, if you know what I mean.
I mean, and then I don't know. I just always think when something like that happens, like he was awake, right? He wasn't like knocked out.
No, he was. He almost did. I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah.
He's
Almost
reached.
ended him.
He's like in the driver's seat, but over half of his body's leaning into the back when I'm about to throw this dumbbell through it, and I'm like, gotta move, dude.
Why didn't he do that? Is like my thing. It's like he's telling you to hurry, and he could have just hurried and back.
I think.
But that's just looking out from the outside. I mean,
No, I agree.
It happened fast.
I agree. I don't know what. I know he definitely couldn't have gotten his driver's side and passenger side door open because those were just smashed in. But the back doors were like almost straight. Like that's all I had to do. I tried to open the door before I smashed it. I tried to open it to see if I could, but then I realized all the lights are off in the car already, so I was pretty sure the electrical system was just shot. So that's what made me have to break that window open. But it's just crazy shit. I was not expecting that to be my last Tuesday.
So like you saved this guy's life, and then everybody's there, and then you're just kind of like, all right, bye. Like, is that how it happened? You're just like, all right, I gotta go.
I'm not even joking. That like I get him to the side of the road. I ask what's hurting. And my mom, the whole time I'm trying to even just talk to homie, my mom is freaking out because the car hadn't exploded yet. And my mom is like waiting on it to explode because the flames were There's a bridge. It happened like right after a bridge. The flames were like halfway up to the bridge. Like it wasn't like just a little fire on the car. It wasn't like a little spark. Like the car's on fire and smoking hot. And so the whole time I'm trying to talk to the guy, my mom is screaming at me, "Stay behind the car!" Like she's trying to like barricade me like with the dude in the car. Like she's trying to get right next to us. And all I'm doing is all I asked homie was, "Are you all right?" And he was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Does anything hurt?" And he was like, "My side hurts." And I was like, "Well, let me get you a bar stool." So I went in my U-Haul, grabbed him that, left it there. And yeah, and not only, like I said, it had been a long day for me already, or maybe I would have stayed, but we had to return that U-Haul the next day. And we had a bunch of stuff on there, so I already was going to have to go home after that, unload a bunch of stuff after already having a long day. I was ready to continue with my day after saving homie. I wasn't like really there to make amends or anything like he didn't even have a chance to thank me or anything like that. Like that's how quick it happened. As soon as I saw paramedics and cops were there, I hopped in the U-Haul and got me and my family out of there because I was not trying to sit on the side of the interstate for any longer than we were. But I went back the next day to see if my bar stool was there, and it wasn't. My bar stool was gone.
Motherfucker.
Hey, yeah, motherfucker took my bar stool. Nah, I hope he got it. I hope he took it home and not like the cops or something. But
that's great.
It was just like a tall, slender black guy in a dress suit, button up, doing something. I think it was his fault. Crazy stuff. Crazy story. I hope I don't ever have to go through one of those situations ever again because it was so fucking scary. I cried with my mom after. It was just nuts. If you ever hear my mom tell the story, she sounds way more.
That's gonna be crazy.
She makes it sound like, I mean, and it kind of was probably for her. She's watching her kid like run across the interstate to a flaming car and shit. She said it was like a horror movie. She didn't know how it was gonna end. You know what I mean?
She probably was like, he dove through the window and.
No. She saw the whole thing. Like she saw every single thing happen. Like from me pulling up. She was right behind me because I'm in the U-Haul, and so she pulled over on the interstate right when I pulled over.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of cars on fire in my day. I remember I was like 16. I was just starting to drive. I was leaving my friend's house, and there was just the dude was already out of the car, but there was just a truck in the middle, like the Veterans 99 four-way. It was just on fire. I was like, huh. Turned around, drove the other way.
Yeah, dude. I was worried about I wasn't just worried about the car. I was more worried about getting hit by another car trying to get to.
I feel like that was probably the most dangerous part.
Yeah,
was
crossing
it at night.
3 lanes of the interstate at night with nobody stopping it. Like it's just.
It was literally just like, oh shit, I gotta run across and get across fast.
Yeah, and the homie that's freaking out and telling me we gotta get him out is like, I'm gonna stop him, and he's only in 1 lane and thinking that it's gonna stop all 3 of them, and I'm like, no, you need to get out there.
Did he stop any lanes? Like,
he stopped a semi that was in the far right lane, and the rest of the cars almost hit me, but they didn't. So, homie's good. I was good. I was happy to make it out alive. I had work the next morning, but I called out because I stayed up until like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was just like, I told my boss, you had me there early yesterday, and then I had all this crap happen to me, so I just needed a day off. So I had that, and it's just been a week. It's been a couple weeks. We haven't done one of these, but I'm so glad that we did.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's literally all I can say about it is how crazy that is.
Yeah, I agree. There ain't nothing really much more to say to it when you describe that.
You always hear these stories about other people doing it. You never think it's gonna like be you.
Bro, when I'm telling you I was so unexpecting to do some shit like that when it happened. Like I'm it's funny, it's like I'm getting annoyed with my fucking dogs while I'm trying to go home because my Boston Terrier likes to lean out the window, and I'm not going to let him do that when I'm in a 26-foot U-Haul. Like, I'm trying to push him over and stuff, and then I'm like, what the fuck, there's a car that's not moving, all the lights are off, and it's smoking. unexpected, crazy, but I'm glad everything worked out and that now we have a story and a piece of glass from the window of the homie, his car.
Super Swink.
Super Swink. Now I was thinking, I was like, I need to get the Superman tattoo right here, but might get it somewhere on my hand now or on my shoulder.
I thought like when I saw like that your elbow was bleeding, I thought you like when you're like just save some dude from a thing, and I thought you like elbowed
My
the window, and you were
my
like, get out.
no, my cousin thought the same thing too. I probably, but that's why I'm here describing the whole story more than anything.
Well, if there wasn't a dumbbell, you think you would have just punched it out?
Well, if I
Just
didn't
opened it.
if I didn't have a U-Haul full of shit, that's probably would have been my first thought. Because as soon as the guy that was running up the interstate was like, "We gotta break him. We gotta break him out. Do you have anything to break it?" I felt my pockets and I have my phone in my wallet and I'm like, "Oh, that ain't gonna do shit." And I was like, "There's a exactly." So I threw up the U-Haul and thank goodness my weight set was like one of the last things that I packed on there. It was like it was sitting pretty right there. But again, I was embarrassed that I couldn't do it in one shot. I had to throw the dumbbell at it twice. I only cracked it in exactly. The second time I threw it though, I was like, I will make sure this goes through. Yeah, exactly, dude.
Dude, it just sounds more and more like a movie. Like the more
It was,
like,
dude. It was.
It's right there. We gotta do it this time.
I was, dude. It was like, I mean, I'm sure the semi that was stopped at the front of it has video of the whole thing, and it'd be cool if like I found that video or something, because they always have like those dash cams for semis. But other than that, it's just words, blood, and like I said, this little piece of glass that I found in my shirt when I got home.
Look it up. Let's see if there's a thing for it.
Dude, if you found it.
6 hours later.
Well, I can't find it. I'm sure I will be able to find it if we like really look for it. There's no way. There's not a story about a flaming car on fire on the interstate.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It was, and what's crazy is I had a teammate that I wrestled with in high school, and he's a cop now, and he said he was called to the scene that was at, and he thought, him and his like partners thought that they were gonna have to work a fatality when that came across, because of how bad it was, like the car being in flames and shit, and in the middle of the fucking interstate, and the guy's trapped in there.
Oh yeah. All in day's work. Super Swink.
Super Swank.
Swank it time.
Swank it time. Bow. Yeah. But great stuff. Hopefully we can get another one of these. We have Xavier Cox fighting this weekend, or September 1st, next weekend.
When is that?
I think that's next weekend.
Where's that?
I think it's in Goodlettsville. We should try to go out to it.
Friday? What time?
It'll be in that, like, afternoon, like 6 probably.
I think we can make it. I think I can make it. I leave from my school. You have to send me a link for the tickets.
Yeah. Him, Anne-Marie Sharp, Brandon Valentine. I think that's it. I think those three. All three. I have 3 teammates fighting on that card. And then Jamie's the main event. Jamie Lloyd's the main event.
Really? That'd be sick to go to.
So, yeah. We should go.
I'm about it.
Heck yeah. Appreciate everybody joining these pods. Appreciate you for hopping back on here. And hopefully we do one next week. We get X on here, or Brandon, or Anne-Marie, or maybe all 3.